WCTG. R. Dean Taylor with Indiana Wants Me, going out to Terre Haute, Indiana tonight. One of Merrill's fans called up, wanted to hear a little something, something. And speaking of Merrill Osmond, we have him live on the air on our phone. Mr. Osmond.
Hello, how you doing?
Great, how are you, Merrill?
Oh, I'm doing great. How's everybody out there?
I think everybody is so excited for this interview tonight, you have no idea.
Oh, that makes me happy. Thank you, sir.
May I call you Merrill?
Please, absolutely. That, or you can call me the Bear.
The Bear. And for people that don't know, that's been his nickname for many a year. Well, first of all, how's your back?
My back's doing fantastic. I was up on stage performing 1 week after I had that massive back surgery, so I'd almost consider it a miracle.
It is. It is. That's just amazing. I've had my own back problems. I had a theory as to why your back's hurting. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's because you're carrying Carlos Santana on your coattails, buddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding your CD in my hand. This is the second edition, so it's been out probably at least over a year. So for those of you who don't know, Merrill Osmond has a new CD of a tribute to classic rock, and then along comes Carlos Santana, copies the idea, gives him no credit. Of course, everybody knows we're kidding. We love Carlos Santana.
Sure, absolutely.
But it's an industry trend, and I think it's really cool that you're actually on the forefront of this trend. The new CD, I got to say, is absolutely phenomenal. We've played several tracks here on the station on our show, and during the regular week too, I think.
Yeah, any favorites you have?
I'm particular to Hold Her Tight, just because I think it's just an excellent remake of the original.
Right.
I miss the talk box a little bit. Obviously, Ain't No Sunshine was a signature tune from you live. I like the feel of that. I think it was just a different sort of jazzier, smokier, darker take on it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, Superstition.
Yeah.
If you listen very carefully to those little licks that were going on there, that was my daughter doing those little trumpet licks that Stevie Wonder put in there.
Wow. Okay. Well, see,
that was pretty cool.
It is, yeah. And see, I was going to ask you, how you put this CD together. I do my own stuff, and before I get into it, I just want to say, while I've got you on here, you have absolutely been an incredible sparking influence in my life. I do music as well, and I play all the instruments. I'm self-taught. I have a studio in my house. I'm working on CD now. But I grew up with the Osmond records in my house, along with Partridge Family and all that. I had an older sister. And as a child, it just sparked my imagination hearing that music from young people and thinking, wow, it almost made it like, I'm a couple years younger than Donnie. And I thought, well, I could probably do that too. And I had my air drums and my tennis racket guitar. And since then, I've had a lifetime of music and a lifetime of joy I've gotten from music, due in no small part, and I'm not exaggerating just because I have you on the show, to the Osmonds.
Oh, well, that's cool, man. Well, music has been our life, and a great fan of the Beatles, obviously, a great fan of many of the older 70s rock groups. And in fact, we knew them all. I mean, Elvis Presley was our buddy. And so the influences that we had as young entertainers rubbed off on how we wrote our music and all that kind of stuff. So, well, thank you. That's a compliment.
Well, see, then you turned and you've sparked the new generation, and obviously, too, I go back to Paul McCartney as well. But your new CD, just so everybody knows, it is for the Bear Hugs Christmas Project. It's a charity, and you can get it, I believe, by emailing jane@manti.com. Is that correct?
That is right. This has been a long-time dream of mine, just to be able to help families that can't have a Christmas. And we're having a big, huge party tonight here at the Orleans Hotel in Vegas, where people are coming in with something to give, and it's just going to be a very exciting project. And so it's fun to play Santa Claus.
Oh, I bet it is. And for those of you out there, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't you one of the original founders of the Children's Miracle Network as well?
Yeah, it's interesting, and humbly speaking, I put the first $100,000 into the pot to get it started, and to see where it's gone right now, over $4 billion. It's another one of those dreams, that has come true, that continues to go on throughout the whole world. So it's another one of those blessings,
It is that. And I tell you, when I first got this CD, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I saw the first track was Rock and Roll, And I was afraid for you, man, because I was like, oh, Merrill, I don't know, man. That's a big song. I love you. But, wow, you know, this is going to be one of those Icarus moments. You're flying too close to the sun because this is Led Zeppelin. But I got to tell you, you crushed it because you didn't do it in the original style. It's a different, it's a bluesier, very more rootsy. It was just a really cool take on it because when I saw that, I was just like, wow, nobody's going to take that song on. But you really smashed that.
Thank you, man. You know, my voice has a lot of gravel in it, and I don't know where it came from. I guess it started when I ate rocks when I was a kid. but that's just my sound, and I utilized a lot of that during that song. And I thought it came out pretty cool.
It did.
Zeppelin and we're really good friends anyway. And when we go back over to Europe, we're gonna be getting with them. And I'm gonna play it for them. I'm just gonna see the reaction.
Yeah, I bet Jimmy Page is gonna absolutely love that. So anyway, if you want to get the CD, it's JANE at manti.com, MANTI.com. The CD is, I believe, $12 with $2 shipping and handling, and it is for a very, very good cause.
Yes, I just hope that those that are listening would take that and and play it, because there's a series of songs that have been my favorite over the years, and I think you'll get them back in the mood of the 70s.
It will, yeah. And like I said, we plan to air. We've got a whole lot of Osmonds, both new and old stuff, queued up tonight, and several cuts from this CD. And just so you know, and I don't want you to run you over territory that you've been over a million times, but as I've been promoting this interview, I've run into something I'm sure you're aware of that's out there. People look at me strange, and they're like, the Osmonds, and there's this perception out there that Donny Osmond was the lead singer. And although he did take the lead on quite a few tracks, I mean, basically, when I think of the Osmonds and I think of the lead singer, it's you. Track for track, it's you.
Yeah, it's what's an interesting thing to say here is that during the 70s, the media in general created a very interesting dialogue around the world. If you were to go to Europe, for instance, Donny and Marie aren't even listed.
Sure.
It was the Osmonds, and so everything that's played over there is what you and I are talking about right now. So the fan base is not listening or going to be listening to Puppy Love or Go Away Little Girl. They're going to be listening to Hold Her Tight and Crazy Horses.
Sure.
And those types of songs. And so then you go to Asia, and it's more a younger breed because there's more Jimmy involved. But it is interesting around the world. So we have to develop different types of show rundowns based on where we are in the world.
I bet.
And even in Iraq, Iran, you'd be surprised that the heavier songs were the number one songs for years over there. So it's been an interesting ride for over 50 years.
I bet so. And, I think a lot of people don't really get just the fact that, like, say, for me, I have my own take on it. And, of course, television sort of makes people a little more famous than even the music business. So Donny Murray obviously had the TV show. But for me, it was always about the music. Like, say, I grew up with those records in my house. And I could go track for track with you for hours just through Phase 3. And as a musician, just from a musical standpoint, I mean, for years, this show's been on the air since 1995 in several different incarnations on several different stations. But, I mean, my old co-host and I, we would just lay down, like, down by the lazy river, and people just couldn't believe it. They're like, wow, that song just rocks. And another one off that I just love, and I just got to know if you played bass on it, was Business.
Oh, yeah. I played bass on that whole album.
Wow. That's phenomenal, because I didn't know if you had, like, studio cats, like, do the bass and the music. No. I know you guys played on tour.
Yeah, no, I played the albums.
Wow.
McCartney gave me one of his basses.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of even hearing that, but thank you for sharing that with me. Wow.
Yeah, I've got some incredible stories with him personally, and that, he's one of our champions, I think you'd say, even now. He'll stand up and defend an Osmond every time, because he recognized early. Because, as you know, it wasn't really hit back when Donny was on every Tiger Beat magazine.
Sure.
That the real music lovers were behind the Osmond sound, because the PR took off into a teeny bopper.
Right.
But people like McCartney and others knew the music and knew the people behind it, and just always fought in the press to say, wake up, listen to the music. And it's been that kept us moving. That kept us going.
Oh, sure.
So you can imagine how we felt when people like that came out.
Oh, yeah, because I'm going to be running the same thing. We've got a Rick Springfield interview coming up maybe in a couple weeks. It's same sort of deal. Never got the respect because of the Teen Idol thing. Peter Frampton's hopefully a future booking of ours, too. And it all revolves around the same thing. It's like, these guys were fantastic musicians. You got to ignore the Tiger Beat and 16 magazine deal there and listen to the music because... I know for me, like I say, Phase 3, I just loved it. Every track on there, just phenomenal. Even like Don't Panic. And I got to ask you this question, though. Don't Panic. When they're at the end, where they're sort of pulling you off the stage, audio-wise, like James Brown style, I almost like picture him throwing a cape. Was that really live, or was that in the studio? No,
that was actually live. I mean,
wow.
Well, the song was written about a taxi cab ride we had in Japan. The driver was going 4,000 miles an hour down the street. We were holding on for our life, and that's how it was. That's the concept behind it.
Oh, okay, makes more sense now. Yeah, I'm getting that though.
That's right. So every one of those songs have a story behind them.
So yeah, speaking of Paul McCartney, and I had read a quote there that I thought was pretty interesting because I'm the same way. You mentioned that you write songs backwards. You characterize it as writing the music first and then the melody.
Yeah.
And then
that's how I write my music.
That's how I do too, and I never thought of it as backwards. I thought to people that can write like lyrics first and then the music, like Elton John does with Bernie Taupin's lyrics. To me, that was always backwards.
Well, because if you think about it, if you turn the radio off after hearing the song and you can't sing it, I don't think you have a hit record. I mean, in theory, that's probably not true, but for me, I want to be able to have the melody and especially a hook in the middle of the song. If you don't have the hook, then you've lost the people who are listening to the record. So good. I've got another guy in my camp. That's the way to write a song.
Yeah. To me, I don't know any other way to do it. So when you said backwards to me, I had to really step back and go, "Gosh, if I've been doing it backwards, it seems like the right way."
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're in this together. Let's keep writing. You know what? You and I had to write a song together.
Oh, don't tease me like that, man. Because look, I'm working on a CD now. I'm getting ready to do a photo shoot probably in another week or so, and my wife's bankrolling that for me. And I'm going to do it independently, and I've done covers for years, but I really just want to open up my heart and soul and put something out there that's me. That's going to live. That's going to live beyond me. And I think I have the name already because we were having a discussion about songwriting. I said, the reason I want to do it is I want to write my name in the sand and not have it wash away in like a day. And that's kind of what doing the CD means for me. And I'm going to actually call it, I think, My Name in the Sand.
What a great... You got to send me a copy. After this interview, I'd really like to have some of your stuff.
I'll send you a link. I have one song that was on SoundClick, which is a big independent music artist website. Mm-hmm. It went to #1 this summer on the pop rock charts. It was called Make a Memory. It was just a demo. It's not even finished yet. I threw it up there to share with some friends on Facebook. And again, it was hooky. It had something that grabbed you right away, and it took off like a rocket ship. Now, of course, no limos showed up at my front door, But, it's like, okay, well, I'm king of the unsigned artists. But anyway, enough about me. Back to you. So we were talking about Osmonds in Phase 3, and then Crazy Horses came out. And to me, that was interesting because from my perspective, the year was it came out in 72, but I didn't hear it until 73. I was like 8 years old. And the Osmonds were one thing in my mind. And I put my quarter in the jukebox because you guys had a new song out. And I expected a certain Osmond thing. And I guess it's a theremin in there that does a wah, wah. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. You know that it was a theremin plus me. It was a combination of me screaming and a theremin.
Wow.
That made that sound.
That song is just so brutally heavy rock, and as an 8-year-old, it kind of scared me. I was like, I grabbed my mother's, skirt, and I was like, oh, hide me from this music. It just wasn't the Osmonds, and I'd sort of been led up to it a little bit because obviously Phase 3 started going in that direction. But again, hold her tight on that. It was just an incredible ride, and I think that's what kind of blew you guys up over in Europe too, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was something that came out of nowhere on radio, and sometimes they banned it from many, many radio stations because it sounded like a siren.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But it was the Led Zeppelin influence, not just in the riff, but the use of a theremin in there, too. And Hold Her Tight is a little bit immigrant song in the riff there.
Mm-hmm.